Hello, everybody. This is Tony T from Tony'sPicks.com with our free Week 2 Part 1 college football picks here for today. Now, we're going to have 9 games, the noon Eastern games, and if you're looking for my best bet, click the link in the description to find them there. Let's go ahead. Let's get this one started. Georgia Tech and Syracuse college football pick. This one here is on Saturday. All right, Georgia Tech 2-0 after their 35-12 home win to Georgia State. Yellow Jackets produced 499 offensive yards, 225 rushing for 6.6 yards per run. They held the Panthers to 360 yards total, 150 rushing for 5.2 yards a carry. Georgia Tech held Georgia State to 3 of 12 on third down. Haynes King, 24 of 29 for 275 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick, averaging 9.5 yards per pass attempt. Syracuse now 1-0 after their 28-22 home win to Ohio. Orange put up 480 yards offensively, 4.2 yards per rush. They held the Bobcats to 2 of 11 on third down with 436 yards for the game. Syracuse did allow 255 rushing yards, 6.5 yards per run. Colin McCord hit 27-39 for 354 yards, 4 touchdowns and a pick. He averaged 9.1 yards per pass attempt. Georgia Tech defending well, limiting the big plays in the passing game, just 6.6 yards per pass attempt. They have gone under in both games. Last year, they held Syracuse to just 22 points in the win. This year, the total is 9 points higher than last. I know there's a quarterback change on the Syracuse side, but do like the third down defense here by the Orange, encouraging play Georgia Tech and Syracuse under 61. Kansas State and Tulane college football pick for Saturday. Kansas State 1-0 after their 41-6 home win to FCS Tennessee Martin. Kansas State finished 9-4 last year for head coach Chris Klieman, who's in his 6th season with the program. The team returns 4 starters to the offense, 8 to the defense. They put up 36 points per game in 2023, 4.9 yards per run. Completed passes were 59%, 7 yards per pass attempt. On defense, the Wildcats allowed 23 points per game, while 159 rushing for 5.1 yards per attempt. Pass defense was a strong suit here. The running backs returned, but the offensive line inexperienced. Avery Johnson at quarterback completed 56% of his passes last year with limited action as a freshman. He did play in the bowl game and a threat to run. Tulane came off the 52-0 home win to FCS Southeast Louisiana last week. The Green Wave finished 11-3 last year. John Summerall, first year with the program. Willie Fritz has moved on. They put up 25 points a game last year, 367 yards of offense. They rushed for 4.1 yards per carry, 8.1 yards per pass attempt. Tulane limited opponents to 21 points per game, 3.6 yards per carry. They allowed only 6.7 yards per pass attempt. The Green Wave must replace quarterback Michael Pratt. They get back their running back, but inexperienced at the receiver position. Key contributors are back on defense. Sophomore Darian Mensah starts at quarterback. He went 10 of 12 for 205 yards with big plays last week. He had 2 touchdown passes. He won the quarterback battle over Oregon transfer Ty Thompson. It's a tough spot on the road here for an inexperienced Kansas State quarterback facing a strong Tulane defense. Mensah's opening performance encouraging. The Wildcats' run defense, the concern, played Tulane plus 10. Bowling Green and Penn State college football pick here for Saturday. Bowling Green 1-0 after a 41-17 home win to FCS Fordham. The Falcons finished at 7-6 last season for head coach Scott Loeffler. In his 6th season, the team put up only 25 points per game in 2023, 4.2 yards per run. They threw for only 173 yards a game, 6.3 yards per pass attempt. Third down conversions were poor. Defensively, they limited opponents to 24 points a game, 4.1 yards per rush. Bowling Green held opposing quarterbacks to 59% completions, 6.8 yards per pass attempt. The offensive line is experienced and transfers will receive roles. Connor Bazelak returns at quarterback. He completed 60% of his throws last year, 6.9 yards per pass attempt. Penn State 1-0 after their 35-12 road win at West Virginia. The Lions gained 457 yards, 222 rushing for 5.3 yards a carry. They limited the Mountaineers to 246 yards for the game, 2.3 yards per rush, and shut down their passing game. Penn State forced 3 turnovers. Drew Allar hit 11 of 17 passes, 216 yards and 3 touchdowns. Bowling Green offense, the concern here, facing that Penn State defense. That road performance in West Virginia was impressive. The run game supporting Allar is the key here. Played Penn State minus 34.5. Troy and Memphis college football pick. This one here is on Saturday. Troy fell to 0-1 with their 28-26 home defeat to Nevada. The Trojans put up 391 yards, 190 rushing for 5.3 yards per rush. On defense, they surrendered 393 yards to the Wolfpack, 214 rushing for 8.5 yards per pass attempt. Goose Crowder, 20-30 passing for 201 yards, 6.7 yards per pass attempt. Memphis 1-0 after their 40-0 home win to FCS North Alabama. The Tigers went 10-3 last year for head coach Ryan Silverfield in his 5th season. The team put up 38 points a game last year, 4.6 yards per run. They threw for 303 yards, 8.2 yards per pass attempt. On defense, the team allowed 30 points and 452 yards per game. Opponents rushed for 4.7 yards per rush against them, 287 passing yards with 8.4 yards per pass attempt. Memphis defense makes it difficult to lay this big of a point spread unit. There is an improvement from the Tigers defense against FBS opponents, but must take these points here. The Trojans running game is encouraging in this spot. Play Troy plus 18.5. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati college football pick for Saturday. Pitt 1-0 after their 55-24 home win to Kent State. The Panthers put up 567 yards of offense, 201 rushing yards, 6.3 yards per run. Each team turned over twice. On defense, the Panthers held the Golden Flashes to 212 yards, 181 passing for 6.5 yards per run. Eli Holstein, 30-40 passing for 336 yards with 3 touchdowns and an interception. He averaged 8.4 yards per pass attempt. Cincinnati comes off the 38-20 home win to FCS Townsend. Cincinnati was 3-9 last year for head coach Scott Satterfield, who enters his 2nd season. 8 starters return on offense with 7 to the defense. The team averaged only 20 points per game last year, 5 yards per pass attempt. The quarterback play was inaccurate and inefficient. On defense, they surrendered 31 points per game, 5.5 yards per run. Opponents threw for 230 yards on Cincinnati for 8.4 yards per pass attempt. Their top running back returns, as does their entire offensive line. Indiana transfer Brian Sorsby won the quarterback job and was efficient against his FCS opponent. Last year at Indiana, he completed 57% of his passes with 6.7 yards per pass attempt. The Bearcats' defense is what's in question here as they face their first FBS opponent of the year. The Panthers' run defense was strong in their opener. Offensively, they clicked on all cylinders in that opener. We'll take Pittsburgh here plus 2. Akron and Rutgers college football pick. This one here on Saturday. Akron 0-1 after their 52-6 road defeat at Ohio State. The Zips gained 177 yards with 47 rushing for 1.3 yards per carry. Defensively, they surrendered 404 yards to the Buckeyes with 170 rushing yards for 5.2 yards per carry. They were just 4 of 16 on 3rd down and had 3 turnovers. Taj Bullock 9 of 13 passing for 68 yards, 5.2 yards per attempt. Bullock did rush for 42 yards on 14 carries. Starting quarterback Ben Finley has a rib injury. He's questionable. Rutgers 1-0 after their 44-7 home win to FCS Howard. Rutgers finished at 7-6 in 2023. Greg Schiano has 7 starters returning on offense, 8 to the defense. They put up just 21 points per game last season, 4.1 yards per rush. Quarterback play was amongst the worst in the nation. On defense, they held opponents at 23 points per game, 4.1 yards per rush. They limited opposing quarterbacks at 59% completion rate, 6.2 yards per pass attempt. They have experience on the offensive line. Their defensive line returns key starters. Minnesota transfer Ethan Kalkmanis starts at quarterback. In 2 seasons at Minnesota, he averaged only 53% completion rate, 6.9 yards per pass attempt. He threw for 17 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. Last week, he averaged only 6.1 yards per pass attempt against Howard. The Scarlet Knights' experience on the offensive line here will wear out the Zips. Akron in a tough spot after facing Ohio State last week and allowed over 5 yards per carry on the ground. The Zips did get in line to make 2 field goals against Ohio State. We'll take Akron and Rutgers over 38.5. Army and FAU college football pick for Saturday. Army 1-0 after their 42-7 home win to FCS Lehigh. The Black Knights finished at 6-6 for head coach Jeff Monken. The team returns 8 starters on offense with 3 to the defense. They put up just 17 points per game a year ago, 4.1 yards per carry. The team completed 47% of their passes, 6.4 yards per pass attempt. On defense, the Black Knights allowed 24 points per game with 5.2 yards per carry. Opponents completed 61% of their passes on Army with 7.6 yards per pass attempt. Bryson Daly lines up at quarterback. He saw action in 11 games last season, completing 50% of his passes with 5.8 yards per pass attempt. He averaged 4.6 yards per run. FAU is 0-1 after their 16-10 road defeat at Michigan State. The Owls produced 248 offensive yards, 132 rushing for 2.8 yards per carry. They went 2 of 15 on third down. On defense, FAU surrendered 293 yards to the Spartans offense with 4.8 yards per rush, only 4.8 yards per pass attempt. The team did force 3 turnovers but coughed up 2. Cam Fancher hit on 12 of 25 for 116 yards, only 4.6 yards per pass attempt. He did rush for 67 yards on 25 carries. Inefficient running there, took 7 sacks. Army looking to play that ball position game, keep the Owls defense on the field. We know that's their strategy. Maybe running it more this year. There will be lots of running by the Black Knights, no doubt. FAU allowed 4.8 yards per run, which is a concern in the spot. Daly has experience running the Black Knights offense. Play Army +4. Texas and Michigan college football pick for Saturday. Texas 1-0 after their 52-0 home victory to Colorado State. The Longhorns put up 545 yards, 190 rushing for 4.6 yards per rush. They held the Rams to 192 yards offensively with 3.1 yards per pass attempt and 3.7 yards per rush. Quint Ewers 20-27 passing, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick. Michigan now 1-0 after their 30-10 home win to Fresno State. The Wolverines gained 269 yards in the game, 148 rushing for 4.4 yards per rush. On defense, they allowed 244 yards to the Bulldogs with only 9 rushing yards, 6.5 yards per pass attempt. They held Fresno State to 2 of 11 on third down. Davis Warren went 15 of 25 for 118 yards with a touchdown and an interception. He averaged 4.7 yards per pass attempt, though. But Texas faced a bad defensive team in Colorado State. Respect the Wolverines' defensive effort here against Fresno State last week and the culture they've built offensively over the past several seasons. We'll take Michigan here plus the points here, +7.5. Arkansas and Oklahoma State college football pick Saturday. Arkansas now 1-0 after their 70-0 home win to FCS Arkansas Pine Bluff. Arkansas finished at 4-8 last year for head coach Sam Pittman, who's feeling the hot seat. The Razorbacks returned 8 starters on offense, 8 to the defense. The team put up 24 points per game last year with 3.6 yards per rush. The passing game produced only 179 yards with 6.6 yards per pass attempt. On defense, the Razorbacks allowed 29 points and 4.4 yards per run. Opponents threw for 200 yards a game on Arkansas with 7.9 yards per pass attempt. Notable hire was Bobby Petrino as offensive coordinator. Talon Green, well, he starts at quarterback, transferring in from Boise State. Green completed 57% of his passes last year, 8.3 yards per pass attempt. A threat to run as he rushed for 434 yards and 5.6 yards per pass attempt. Oklahoma State is 1-0 after their 44-20 home win to FCS South Dakota State. Mike Gundy returns for his 20th season as head coach. Team went 10-4 last year, returned 10 starters on offense, 9 to the defense. The Cowboys put up 30 points per game last year, 4.8 yards per rush. They threw for 274 yards, 6.8 yards per pass attempt. On defense, they surrendered 30 points a game and 445 yards as well. Opponents rushed for 4.6 yards a carry on the Cowboys with 275 yards passing, 8.8 yards per pass attempt. Alan Bowman completed 61% of his passes last year, 6.9 yards per pass attempt. He did struggle with 14 picks. He had a great performance in the opener against South Dakota State. Now, with these poor defensive numbers, it's going to be tough to lay over a touchdown with the Cowboys here. Bowman experienced at quarterback, but inefficient last year. Those picks are a concern. Of course, Bobby Petrino hire could make an impact for Arkansas and coaching up this dual threat quarterback in Green coming over from Boise. Play here Arkansas +7.5. All right, that was our college football pick show here for Week 2, Part 1. We got you 9 of the games. Be sure, looking for my best bets, guys. Be sure to click the link in the description. Get to Tony'sPicks.com for that. And subscribe to our channel. We have free picks every day from all the major sports. So this is a channel you want to subscribe to. That'll do it for now. I'm Tony T. We'll talk with you guys later.